Okay, so before we get started, I want to let anyone know coming into this review blind that the scope of this is going to cover MR1 and a very tiny portion of MR2. And so we're also only going to be showing fights from base Rise monsters. I also want to thank Capcom for providing this code for me to get a review done in time for early access. It means a lot. Thank you so much. You might also see some equipment from a Sunbreak monster that was shown briefly in a trailer, but outside of that, you should be safe from any new monster spoilers. Also, for the most part, this review is going to be mostly focusing on the system's Sunbreak modifies to make Rise a better game. Okay, so your reaction or engagement to Sunbreak probably closely tracks to the original release of Monster Hunter Rise. There are three broad categories of people in this regard. If you liked Rise, and especially if you kept playing through all the way to the end of the 3.0 title update, you are going to love Sunbreak. It takes nearly every base mechanic in Rise and adds a small layer of depth and complexity to it. This is a pretty bold approach, as I found myself proclaiming several months ago that Sunbreak would reduce wyvern riding or make wirebug skills less commonplace. To that end, though, I think the design team made the right choice in doubling down and reworking these systems to feel somewhat more engaging and complex. Nearly every weapon now has wirebug switch stance that will benefit it in some way. If you're not sold on this change, hey, check out the demo. It's free and you can take a look at what this system looks like firsthand. If you loved Monster Hunter, but found the Rampage and Charm melding system to be a little bit annoying, I have news. So first off, Rampage tickets are a thing of the past. And with them gone, you can expect to never do a Rampage ever again. I trust that the design team evaluated if there was a way to make the system great, struggled to find it interesting in any way, and ended up taking out the best parts, which is the unique Rampage bonuses are now simply decorations. See, too many weapons in the base game were defined by a +7 or +10 raw bonus to the attack. Now, in addition to normal decorations, you have Rampage decorations, which you have to use when considering which weapon you'll use. A weapon may be better 1-to-1, but does it beat something ever so slightly weaker if the weaker weapon has a level 2 Rampage slot? Say, that could have an anti-Wyvern exploit or anti-Leviathan exploit included? These are the questions and complexity that now go into set building, which is really an absolute joy. As for melding talismans, Master Rank 1-2 doesn't outright tell us what to expect in terms of melding, but it does give us some hints. We now earn this melding juice and melding accelerators. The melding accelerators mean the development team is aware of the tens of thousands of lives lost to Arena Rajang, but I still worry that it's even an option. It probably means that we'll still be doing melding in the future, but only time will tell. If you bounced off of Rise immediately because you hated wirebugs and switch skills, and wanted to see if a Monster Hunter World remake with the same graphics, well, I'm sorry to say that not too much has changed. Master Rank itself will definitely provide a better challenge, but it doesn't change that the game itself has to run on an 8-year-old Android tablet. Some changes in Sunbreak for the PC do appear to have made the shading appear a bit better, but there's still a little bit of the same distance-based field of view options that appear to make it look a little bit shaded in the background. I'd love to see the game get a proper PC graphical overhaul, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I should mention that there is at least one new exclusive PC feature. The classic filter seems to increase the contrast and saturation by a bit. While I still think these filters can make for some interesting screenshots, I've yet to see any that would make me want to play with them on. If anyone at Capcom is listening, I'd love to see a cel-shaded filter to get a little bit closer to Monster Hunter Stories. Maybe we'll see it someday? I remember leading up to the release of Iceborne, Ryozo promised that new monsters in Master Rank would have a new move. I thought this was amazing, up until it seemed like the only thing that changed on Anjanov is that he would sometimes throw up on me, and Palomo would hit me with a triple butt slam. Well, you can experience this a lot yourself in the Sunbreak demo already. I can tell you that even the most simple of monsters, Izuchi, has gotten some very interesting changes and mix-ups to his attacks. One of the most interesting was Aknasam, who almost feels like an entirely new monster with an ability to attack behind him. To that end, if they're putting this much effort into early game monsters, it stands to reason that we're in for a major treat as Master Rank develops and we find harder and harder quests. I've been somewhat negative on wirebug skills in the past. Skills that allowed a perfect guard felt overpowered, and many weapons had a single move you'd want to spam in terms of a wirebug move, completely ignoring the other choice. With stance switching, we are now given many interesting options. Just want to switch one wirebug skill? You can do that. Want completely different loadouts for different styles of play depending on whether the monster's enraged or not? You can do that too. There was some concern about this game turning into Devil May Cry, but honestly, it's not like you're spamming the switch stance after every attack, as the motion does take time away from when you could be properly attacking or defending. It does, however, lead to some really interesting combos sometimes, and at least early on, makes Hellcutter seem like a decent switch kill for once. I remember when the new system for Dango skills was shown, it seemed as if it was just a simply worse option than just using a voucher. But it's actually a different system entirely. First off, let me just say that I really wish we got proper food as an option, as eating Dango all the time and getting diabetes makes me feel pretty bad. But it makes some sense why they kept it. With the new system, you're able to upgrade Dango to a higher ability level, concurrent with a reduced chance of activation. I'm a little mixed on this. On one hand, the order you eat your Dango for boosts seems like a really interesting idea, and I love that. On the other hand, I don't know why we aren't just getting a 100% chance of activation. Maybe we'll get gourmet vouchers later on? Time will tell, but at the very least, this is a system that has seen a lot more depth and thought put into it. Whether you end up wanting to have stronger weakener for a chance with a monster with less life, or would rather just go with a higher chance at getting booster, we will definitely see a lot of interesting choices made in terms of normal play as well as in actual TA speedruns. I think everyone is excited to see follower quests when they got formally announced. To me, it seemed like something they wanted to workshop while they got ready for the next big Monster Hunter game. But I can say already they seem fairly fleshed out. You have quests that you do with followers to unlock designs for weapons, and then you have a short list of quests you can do with them to continue to unlock materials for those weapons, or just farm with company. Something does seem a bit off of their voices that seems a little bit cursed. When they're not right next to you, their voice has a weird echo or something like that going on. And I wish I'd been recording my face cam for when the heavy bowgun user started lighting up this Kezi with sticky shots, which I thought was an SOS-only tactic. I like seeing their lines of dialogue, and seeing your interaction with them in the cutscenes is pretty nice. Most interesting of all is it does seem that they have a wide range of weapons to choose from, and it'll be interesting to see what weapons end up being their best choice depending on which monster. Palicos and Palamutes have gotten some small upgrades, with Palicos able to get some additional super skills to start matching the damage Palamutes put out, and Palamutes by default getting a gathering pouch to help you when you're out collecting in the field. So far, nothing major to report on, other than continuing this theme of deepening systems to make the game even more of a brain burner. On a closing thought, I'd like to go back to the release of Iceborne for Monster Hunter World. Everyone was happy that a new expansion had dropped, but some core components of the gameplay was changed. Claw Stagger, Tenderizing, Guiding Lands, and Clutch Claw were now all a part of the game, there from the moment you hit HR1 or Master Rank for the Guiding Lands. When the Fatalis patch finally dropped, I can confidently say that all these mechanics feel pretty good, at least within the context of Master Rank itself. But it certainly did take some time before everything felt perfect. With Rise, I don't think anyone had too much to complain about, other than the title updates ended very early, and there really wasn't much else to do. can confidently say that these systems that we're already seeing in MR1 make Sunbreak a definite positive to the Rise experience. And by the time we unlock our Master Rank cap, we should have plenty of things to play around with and explore. Not only that, but they're already planning title updates going on into next year, promising that the game itself will continue to get jolts of interest put out into a regular basis. One last thing, if you're still here and you haven't bought Sunbreak yet, I do have a referral link with Capcom through nexus.gg that you can check down in the description below. And it would help support the content I create if you bought it through there. Otherwise, you can expect to see me streaming over my Twitch channel every day over at twitch.tv/sdshepherd. Until next time, good luck, and have a good hunt.